so glad to see missionary Foster back with always walking in victory. Amen. And so we thank God for all those who's a part of Tabernacle. Leave no saint behind, part 2. How to prevent from being a casualty in a spiritual war. This is very serious to me because as I look around, just as Jesus told Peter, Satan seeks to sift you as wheat. But I prayed for you. Hallelujah. I prayed. Oh. By the way, children's church is happening right now. So if you got a child under the age of 12, older than the age of 5, you know, you got to be potty trained or something. But if you got a child, children's church is happening. So I'm excited about that too. Y'all, we coming somewhere. We coming somewhere. You know, somebody was asking me, you know, they were talking to me like we're a 25-year-old church. Y'all do know we're a year and a half old. Yeah, we're a year and a half. And look what God has done in this year and a half. We do more by Tuesday than most people do all month. Yeah, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Yeah, but I thank God for that. And so children's church is happening. I thank God for the team that's working with the children's church. The enemy causes us to be a casualty, and I just want to reiterate this picture because there's one brother carrying one who's wounded, but even the one who's wounded is still fighting. He's still shooting on the back of somebody else. And I'm saying to you, Galatians 6:1 says, those of you who are spiritual must bear the infirmities of the weak. We got to stand and help lift others up. If you're strong, if you're not about to be a casualty in the fight, then you should be helping somebody else. Our faith walk is not just about you. I'm good. I don't know about them. Them hypocrites. If you see hypocrites, you ought to be helping them to be free from their hypocritical ways. You don't need to be talking. You need to be helping some way, somehow. And it ain't just you a hypocrite. I want to encourage you. I want to bless you. I want to just come alongside you. So we should be helping brother and sister and one to another. And so how not to be a casualty. And I mentioned last week, I'm going to repeat this because I want to, how do we prevent from being casualties? We got to be trained. Just like these soldiers are being trained. You don't just walk in the army and say, because I went hunting with my daddy, I can shoot, and you go on. They don't care if you've been hunting with your daddy and you learn how to shoot with a BB gun, with an air rifle when you was young. They're going to train you to shoot, train you to be a soldier. And I felt God had me to bag some, to push, to train you in some things that are very important. Because we, my brothers and sisters, are a frontline apostolic church seeking to advance the kingdom of God. And since we're fighting in these dark days, these really evil days, these days are so evil, and we're fighting these evil days. I would define it, but I'm preparing a message series now on biblical prophecy that we see in the headlines, and it's in my head because I was studying it yesterday. These days are so dark, but it's wonderful that they're dark because that means we should be excited because Jesus is soon to come back. That's exciting, right? Yeah, Jesus come back any minute now. That's exciting. Yes. No more work, no more labor, no more nothing. We're going to be reigning with him soon. That's exciting. The only part that's depressing is that there's so many of our friends, family, neighbors, and colleagues who don't know him, and we don't want to leave without them. And so that's why we're on the front lines fighting. We're good. Death is not even anything to us. We're not scared of death. They're trying to scare us with death. If you know you can die. I could have died 2 years ago. You can die. You better do what you better do. Don't go nowhere. Don't you go to church. You can die. Man, them folks ain't scared of dying all across America. I keep saying it every week, but I can't get it. All across America, Alabama lost in front of about 100,000 folks. Ole Miss beat Arkansas yesterday in front of about 70,000 folks. Social distancing was not even a thought at Michigan or at wherever, you name the school, Oregon or UCLA, in California, in New York. Well, New York don't have no good colleges, but you know what I'm saying? Not for football. Yeah, that's what they too socially distanced. Offensive line got too many gaps. So just folks to run right through. But bottom line, they wasn't afraid to die for football. Folks, last week, the Milwaukee Bucks was in town for a game that don't even matter. The game didn't even matter. Don't matter to nobody. Giannis was on the bench drinking Kool-Aid. But folks went up in there. They weren't scared to die. But now you went to church. Woo, you gonna die. Yeah. Walmart was packed yesterday. The Halloween day, the Satanists were packed getting their costumes trying to look like demons. But it wasn't a mask. That was a different kind of mask. They're not afraid to die. Hallelujah. We love not our lives unto the death. I'm just saying. I don't mean to make nobody mad. I'm just trying to make you glad that we ain't scared to die, because death is not our enemy. I'm glad I learned a long time ago not to gauge the number of amens on if I'm preaching or not, because if I gauge it on y'all, I think I'm tanking right now. Y'all just looking at me. So how can you fly? Remember I shared that? How do we fly? How do we soar? How do we make it? And I used that analogy last week about the two flies. I won't go there. But how do we soar? How do we fly? Somebody told me that just grossed them out looking at pictures of flies in church. This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6. This is how we fly. Not by our own ability, not by our own strength, but by the Spirit of the Lord. This is what I shared with you last week. I'm just reviewing, just to make sure if you weren't here or if you just need to review. Now, how do we wage God's war? I mentioned to you that as we go out fighting the war, we must go higher in intimacy, upward in intimacy with God. And so that bottom person, remember the x-axis and the y-axis, I think I got that right. The vertical and the horizontal axis, as you go higher, you're closer to God. As you go further out, you're in the spiritual, unseen realm fighting in the war. That one person at the bottom of this graph, they haven't gone very high. They show up every couple Sundays out of the month, and they go right on back down. They still cussing, fussing, mad, depressed, full of anxiety, full of whatever. Just keep going up and down. Then the blue line, continues to go up. Maybe they go to Bible study. Maybe they go to small groups. They come to prayer sometimes, and they continue to go up. But that orange one right there, they're praying, they're fasting. They got some people around them that strengthen them. And as they go further out, they're going higher. And this orange line graph is the optimal area where the saints should be. That as I'm going out, I'm going higher. And for those of you who say, well, I'm not going out fighting the fighting the war. If you isolated yourself, self-quarantined, stayed in your house, locked all the doors, you're still in the war. You can't lock the devil out. And if you're going to work, if you're going to shop, if you're visiting relatives, if you're just going out and pumping gas in your car, you're going further out into this spiritual war. So we got to make sure that my life in Christ continues to go higher. And this is why we went to James 4, 7, and 8. The Bible tells us how to be prepared and how to win. This is the formula, and this is where we stand. This is where we look at it. It says, therefore, submit to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. You ever felt that God was far away? Where is God? I don't feel God. He's far away. He said, come to me. I'm coming close to you. Bishop G. Patterson told about his wife. Y'all remember this? Bishop G. Patterson told about his wife. He said when his wife said, we're not as close as we used to be. We used to drive. We used to be hugged up while we were driving. And he looked at his wife and he said, well, the steering wheel hasn't moved. I'm still sitting in the same place. It's you that moved over. Lord, many of us saying God ain't moving, God ain't close like he used to be, but maybe you're not as close to God as you used to be. God has not moved. God is still there saying, where are you? Yeah, when you first got saved, you didn't care. I love God. I was reading my Bible. Now Netflix is calling. Now I'll spend an hour and a half on the timeline with people I don't even know. Watching you walk. I'm watching that. I'm watching folks walking. And then when I open my Bible, I can't spend 6 minutes. I can't scroll through the Bible for 6 minutes, but I can scroll through the timeline. Lord, I know I'm talking. I know I'm in this house now. I know I'm in this house. TikTok know you better than God know you. Algorithms know you better than God know you. How did they know? How did they know I like this? Draw near to God, he will draw near to you. Wash your hands. There it is. There it is. The Lord been saying this since the beginning of time. Wash your hands, you sinners. I mean, y'all act like that was new stuff. Wash your hands. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts. Now, that's interesting. Wash your hands, purify your hearts. You double-minded. Woo! This is our instructions on how to fly. So here we are. Last week we looked at how to submit to God. And we looked at how to resist the devil. And today we're going to look at how do you draw near to God. I don't want to just say these things. I am your pastor. So I'm not an evangelist. So I can't just say this and go and expect you to figure it out. I'm here with you. So I want to explain step by step, how do you submit? So I wanted to show you, how do you submit? How do you resist? And by the way, speaking of resisting, you're going to get those scriptures. Have you been memorizing scripture? You could have just memorized the ones I gave you. That's good enough. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad I saw somebody raise their hand. Some of y'all look like, what scriptures? Yeah, I'm like, Lord have mercy. Yep, we're going to have church detention. So like you could just time out for you, just time out. And so resisting the devil with the word of God, fighting with the word, and God works through his word. And then today we're going to look systematically, how do you draw near to God? And then next week we're going to look at how to wash your hands. And don't say that's elementary, because they've been teaching us how to wash our hands now for the last year and a half. Yeah, you get soap and you turn water on. You'd be surprised how many grown folks don't know how to wash their nasty hands. And then you, hey, brother, and then you wash, and then you rub. He good, he love the Lord. He good, he ain't messing with nobody. Y'all, that's one of my best disciples in this church. He know what he doing. He just worshiping. He's a worshiper. Y'all leave that one alone. Yeah, you wash your hands. And so next week we'll look at how to wash your hands and how to purify our hearts. But today we're going to look at how to draw near to God. Draw near to the Lord, and he will draw near to you. When we draw near to God, he will draw near to us. Because remember this, light and dark cannot be in the same place. Light and dark don't abide in the same spot. So if you want to be in the light, you got to go to the light. You can't wait till the light to come in the shadows. And so draw near to God, he will draw near to you. And now I just want to remind you that demonic forces are on the run right now. Because remember, it said last week, if you resist the devil will run from you. You know, some people say, I've been running from the devil all week. I don't know why you running from the devil. You ain't supposed to be running from the devil. The devil's supposed to be running from you. If you running from the devil, that means y'all friends. Yeah, because when you resist, he runs. Demonic forces are on the run from God's trained warriors. This is what we're training you to be, to chase the devil through your actions. And as God comes closer, so demonic forces are on the run from God's trained warriors as God also comes close to you. Devil is leaving and God's presence is coming in your life. There should be a change. There should be a difference. Even if you live in a wicked area where there's strategic level demonic forces that rule in that area, there should be not just a truce, there should be a peace in your house. Because the devil can't get a foothold in your house. Even if you're in the middle of a job full of demoniac forces, there should be peace in your mind and in your spirit. Right in the midst of witches. Hello, somebody. Right in the middle of some crazy folks. Have you ever been just around crazy folks that just pull you down? But when you get mature in God, you can get around some folks that's fussing, cussing, crazy, whatever, and you still got peace. No, I can feel that, but I'm resisting that. I got the word in me. Hallelujah. So draw near to God involves specifically personal prayer life. There is no other way to come close to God. I don't care. I know some of y'all got like degrees on top of degrees. Some of y'all just got degrees you ain't never going to use. I just figured I'd get that degree. I just figured I'd do that. You know folks like that. Just got all kinds of degrees, and we smart. We smarter than Google, and we know everything. But no matter, it's not here. It's about a relationship. You can know a lot about a person, but that don't make you close to them. I can know everything about you, but that don't make us friends. I mean, I can know everything, your favorite food, your favorite color, your shoe size, everything that you do, your birthday, your anniversary, everything. That don't make us friends. That just make me a stalker. Because I know everything about you and don't have a relationship with you. I'm a stalker. Some of us just stalking God, just looking from far. Yep, that's the Lord. When he look your way, no, I'm looking, not just looking. There's no other way to draw near to God without talking to him. And I want to talk about that. How do you talk to him? Our personal prayer life is the principal barometer used to measure the quality of our relationship with God. How is the quality of your prayer life tells about the quality of relationship, which then tells about where you are in God. Tells about where you stand in God and where you stand. And as you mature, your relationship grows. I can sit, as my marriage, when I first met my wife, can I use my wife as an example just for now? I first met my wife, I had to think about what we're going to talk about. Actually, no, I didn't, because she's about the most transparent person. We just began to talk. But the quality of our conversations over the years now, I know it. I pretty much know what she's thinking. She know what I'm thinking. We interrupt each other without saying sorry for interrupting. Because we know when to jump, we can just jump in like a Jenga pieces, like puzzle pieces. I just interrupt her, and then she interrupt me, and then we talk, and then we go here, that, left, right, up, and then come all the way back to the beginning. Because we've been conversing for a long time. So she don't say, I was trying to talk, and you interrupted me. Because we know how to talk. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you fit in. One time I did a start for interrupting. She's like, no, babe, keep on talking. Yeah, that's good. And then she finished, and then she this. Well, when you're talking with God, the same thing. Intimacy with God should be our primary goal. I want to be intimate with God. Yes, I don't want to go to hell. Yes, if I'm a sinner, I go to hell. I don't want to go to hell, but not going to hell is not good enough to keep us strong and to fight this spiritual warfare. I got to want to have an intimate relationship with God. Just because I want to have sex is not a reason to get married. Yeah, I just want to get married because I just want to have sex. Then you ain't going to be under control when you get married either. You still going to be running around there, looking at everybody. Marriage don't change it, right? You got to have intimacy, a relationship. Lord have mercy. I didn't mean that, but I think that was for somebody. Yeah, I think that was for somebody. And so you got to have a relationship. Intimacy with God should be our primary goal. Why should that be? Because John Wimber said, only in a sustaining and close relationship with the Father do we experience forgiveness, renewal, and power for righteous living. Only in an intimate relationship with God can we hear his voice, know his will, and understand his heart. Hear his voice, his will, and understand his heart. Oh, by the way, I don't think I said it, and I just want to say these notes are on our website, so you can download them and have them. This whole PowerPoint, everything I preach is on the website. Notes from last week, notes from this week are on the website, tabsouthaven.org. That's the only way we can know his voice. Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. I was telling somebody the other day, I knew that to be true because I don't want to stay on this long. We used to get a live sheep to slaughter for the church picnic when I was pastoring in South Africa, when we were small, right? Because a sheep don't feed a whole lot of people. I think it's too many of us for one sheep, especially where y'all eat meat. We probably need 2 or 3. Yeah, so, where y'all eat meat, like, give me that quarter hind, give me the quarter leg, back quarter. So this year, we always at the last minute go to the farm and buy a sheep. And so I got tired of this last minute stuff. It was the brotherhood there, always. And then it was on me because I had to drive, and it was always a headache. And we running around, and I got to throw this sheep in my car, hurry, run home. And then the sheep is stressed, and then we slaughter it. And, you don't want no stressed meat. So this year, I can talk on that, but I won't. So this year, I went and got the sheep 2 weeks early, trying to be proactive. Tied it with a rope, tied it to the tree in the backyard. My children started feeding it, named it, made friends with the sheep. And I don't know who did it. To this day, nobody has confessed. And I promise there's amnesty. Nobody will be beaten or judged, but I just want to know who did it. One morning, I know what day. It was a Saturday morning. I wake up. And when we went to buy the sheep, I got to tell you this. When we went to buy the sheep, there's a big farm, just huge field, and there's a shepherd out there, and they spray paint on the side of the sheep the number, how much it costs. So we say, yeah, we're here to buy sheep. Y'all serious? Yeah, we serious. We want to buy sheep. They called the shepherd, and the shepherd called the sheep. He had a certain call. He said, hey, nah, 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 hey, nah, 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 and they all came from everywhere. Hundreds of sheep came running because they know the voice of their shepherd. So he had that call. And all the sheep came, and we said, we like this, we like this. Now I want that fat one. How much is that? Okay, we want that, and we take the sheep home. So that Saturday morning, I look out my window, the sheep is off the rope, walking around in the backyard, eating grass. I said, how'd the sheep get loose? I know I tied that knot. But not only is the sheep loose, the gate that is always closed and locked is open, wide open. Am I telling the truth, Jabari? The gate is wide open. Somebody said, go, sheep, go. Somebody. So, me being the smart guy, remember how the shepherd called the sheep. I go outside, and I see the sheep standing there, and I say, hey, hey, mwah, 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 mwah. And the sheep looked at me and said, oh, no, you ain't. And I never knew that sheep could run so fast. That sheep was galloping, running. We start running, chasing the sheep. Jabari is with me. We run for an hour and a half. Till finally, anywhere I went, he went the opposite direction because he said, that one there, that's the slaughterer. He is not the shepherd. I don't know how he picked me out, but he picked me out. And ultimately, I sent Jabari around the flank, had to come. I said, I'm going to chase him your way. And Jabari had to be a linebacker and literally tackle the sheep and hold them down. Then I came and had to carry him about, I don't know how many miles away from home, carry him on my shoulder like you see that picture in Jesus on the children's story. I had a big old sheep on my shoulder. Because if we had not chased the sheep, he was going to get eaten by somebody that day. I got a picture of me carrying a sheep back on my wall in my office. If you ever want to come by, you're welcome. It's not the principal's office. It's the pastor's office. You're free. And interesting, once we got home in the gate, he was supposed to be slaughtered 3 days later. He was slaughtered right then. That's like, you caused too much trouble. My point is, if you want to know the voice of the shepherd, then you know other voices. The reason why some of us are depressed, oppressed, confused, and jacked up, because we have not heard God's voice enough. We don't know his voice. We're confused by so many other voices. That sheep, to his credit, knew, you sound like my shepherd, but you ain't my shepherd. You know the sound. There are many people that know the sound, but they're not shepherds, they're slaughterers. And we've been listening to the slaughterers. And the only way to get clear on the voice of God is to be close to him, where you know that ain't God, that is God. If you're not close to God, anybody can tell you God said, God said, God said. God is talking, but he ain't talking through everybody. Hey, oh, Bishop, you didn't say this. No, God didn't say it. So, but drawing near to God requires time. Requires time. Some people don't dedicate a specific time, and they say things like, I pray without ceasing. Praise the Lord, I don't need a prayer time. I pray without ceasing. First of all, driving in traffic is not quality time praying with God. I pray on my way to work in traffic. And you, first of all, you already working for the devil, because you done went off on like 15 people before you left your own subdivision. These kids, what they doing, waiting for a bus. Get out my way. You're driving 50 in a 20 mile an hour. These kids, what the garbage man want for the day? Some people don't dedicate time and when you say that you pray without ceasing and don't have a specific time, usually it ends up having no time in prayer. Little prayer, little power. That's it, little power. Much prayer, much power. Little prayer, little power. Much prayer, much power. Some people don't dedicate time to pray because they don't enjoy praying. Come on, let's tell the truth. Some of us, we just don't like praying. Now, I got to pray, and I think I said it last week. If I didn't, I'm going to say it now. People say, prayer is work. Prayer is work. Prayer ain't work. That's like me saying, talking to you. Man, Jackie wanted to talk to me. It's work talking to her. I don't think she'd be offended. Especially now, let's go to my children. I got to talk to my kids. That's just work. It's not work. It's not that hard to work if you learn what to do, and that's what we're going to teach you. Some always have something more, and then it's like I learned the maturity of my children by their dish life. Your dish game tell me when you're growing up. That when you're young, now my wife don't let them do the dishes till they a certain age, and I always wondered why. Let that boy grow up. Let him do the dishes. Then I started getting some crusty, nasty dishes, and then I started understanding why. Yeah, you know what? Let's let him grow up just a little bit more, because my fork, I was eating something good, and then something else was, that just ain't cool. He wasn't old enough. You know he only 7, because I figured by the time you 5, you can wash dishes. I'm going to get you a box to stand on. But anyway, as you get older, I notice the 10-year-old, 12-year-old washing dishes, they got an attitude, got whatever. But as you get older, it's like, this is just what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. I'm clean up, clean the counters, do whatever else. I get it done, get it whatever. And I start saying, you growing up, just by how I see you doing the things around the house. Sometimes the way we pray shows the maturity where we are at God. Praying is not hard work. It is enjoying God. First, you need to approach prayer is that it is a time to enjoy your Father. Now, I told you about daddy last week. Hope you got over your daddy issues or working through your daddy issues, right? Because your father issues will affect even your prayer life. Because some of us were raised where fathers don't talk to their children, right? That's how we raised. Father's supposed to be seen. Kids only talk to mama, don't talk to daddy. That's how we were raised. That's how I was when I first got married. They're supposed to be scared of me. What? Daddy on, sit down. Yeah. What kind of daddy is that? You big mean ogre? What's the name? Shrek? The father loves to commune with his children. Loves to talk. I just love talking to my children, all of them. But the funny thing is, you got a baby, for those of you with babies, you're like, I just wonder what she's thinking. I wonder what she's thinking. Then they get like 1.5, and you're like, I don't want to know what you're thinking anymore. Because they're thinking everything. Prayer is enjoying time with your Father. And so how do you enjoy that time? First of all, you got to work on the setting in your prayer. If you're getting up early, for me, early is a good time. For some, late at night is a good time. I'm not going to tell you what time to meet your daddy. For me, I get up early when everything is quiet. Usually my phone is off. You know, it's interesting. There are times I think my phone shouldn't work, but even this morning, my phone was blowing up with pastors texting me, asking me stuff. And I'm like, I hope you have a good service today. My God, why are you asking me this today? And if you're watching, yeah, I'm talking about you. So get up early. Bishop O.T. Jones Jr. used to say, get up, make an appointment with God, take a shower, put on your clothes, go like you're going to an appointment, because when you wash up, you wake up. Come on now, if you just turn over, good morning, Lord. Pajamas half hanging off, do-rag half off. Get together. Why, at least, if you don't take a shower and put on your clothes, at least wash your face. Wake up a bit. Good morning, Lord. Glad to be with you. You ain't got to brush your teeth. God know what bad breath smell like. But wash your face. At least wash your face. If you're doing it at night, remove the clutter. And never, ever, ever take your phone or your computer to your prayer place. Never, ever, 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 ever. I'm more mature than I've ever been in the Lord. I got a long way to go, but I'm stronger than I've ever been. But I ain't too strong to have this thing in my prayer place, because trust me, Lord, let's just look at the emails just for a minute, Jesus. Woo! Next thing I know, a whole hour went by with emails and Facebook, Instagram, text messages, and look at the photos that they reminded me of last year. Yeah. Oh, how many steps did I walk yesterday? All kind of things come up. Man, I hit 22,000. I ain't do nothing. All that. No. Leave the phone, leave the computer. First of all, you need a good setting. And another setting, an emotional setting, approach prayer with an attitude of gratitude. Now, I might get there in a minute, but approach prayer with an attitude of gratitude. Approach prayer with thanksgiving. I was telling in the class today, I went to a couple of the Kingdom School classes. If you're not coming to Kingdom School, you're missing something. We're not just, anybody got a word, anybody got a word. There's instruction. There's great things that are happening in Kingdom School. And I went to 3 classes today. I got kind of messed up, though, because one was speaking, because they all were interrelated. And I started, in my head, I was just all messed up, because I came in here, they were teaching on wisdom. And then I went in there in spiritual warfare. Then I went to apologetics class, and they were talking about thermodynamics. And I was like, the devil! The devil. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's natural laws. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so I was telling them in class this morning, I got a chance to say something. I got a chance to make a comment. Corrie ten Boom who I read a book when I was a child. I thank God for those who had me read books as a child. I read a book called The Hiding Place. Anybody ever read that? The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. If you ever want to read a great book, it's an autobiographical book about a family, the Ten Boom family, who were in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and they during the Holocaust, during World War II, they began hiding Jews from the Nazis. They were not Jewish. They were hiding Jews. They finally got ratted on, got caught, and they went to concentration camps. And so their whole family went to the concentration camp, and as I remember it, they all died in a concentration camp. But when she first went, she and her sister went to one concentration camp, and it's real horrible, and you learn a lot about World War II, and you learn a lot about why we don't want to repeat things from the past that they're trying to repeat even right now, and you see the parallels and how they pimped the church at that time. That's a whole nother thing, another lesson for another day, and how the enemy infiltrated, and his imagination is no different today. But they were put in these barracks where they would squeeze all these Jews that they were going to eventually murder and kill, because they said that Jews were not human. Jews were not human, and they were going to kill it, and Jews were the problem. These Jews are the problem of our society. It's the reason why the economy is down. The Jews were the reason for disease in the country. So if we remove the Jews, we won't have disease. Sound familiar? Jews were refused from having medical care. By the way, they're talking about who they're not going to give medical care to. Soon they're going to say if you got diabetes, it's your fault. No, if you say you're unvaccinated, we don't want to treat them, they're going to say you got diabetes, you could have prevented that. You got high blood pressure, you could have prevented that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a case for that, you know. There's an argument. You can say that. So you better watch when people start saying they want to be selective of who they take care of, because we've been selectively taking care of all our generations in this country. Y'all just need to understand that. So you'll never want to be on the side of saying, yeah, don't take care of them folks, because you were the folks that ain't going to get taken care of. Anyway. So they got squeezed into these barracks where hundreds of people were squeezed in rooms that were meant for like 20 people. And the SS soldiers were raping women, and they would beat them, and they do all kinds of things. But for some reason, when they went in there were a bunch of fleas. And her sister said, 1 Thessalonians 5 says, in everything give thanks. We're going to give God thanks for everything, even though we're in a bad situation. And we're going to pray and give God thanks. And she said, I gave God thanks for everything, even all the bad things that have happened. But I could not see why I would give God thanks for some fleas. And have you ever been bitten by fleas? Oh, they hurt. They're one step down from bed bug bites. All right? But flea bites are bad. Bed bug bites are the worst. But you know, we used to say good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs, but I don't say that no more, because I got attacked. When the devil want to attack me, I get bed bug bites. I'll be in a 5-star hotel and get ate up by bed bugs. They're like, how did this happen? And then they're like, sir, it's not us. You know you lying. Then they used to tell me, no, I'm getting off. Let me stay on the fleas. But let me just say this. They used to tell me there wasn't no bed bugs in my room, so then I would hunt them and catch them and then show them, I found a bed bug. They were like, yeah, you must have brought it. Like, I'm suing. I was in France the last time that happened. But anyway, so she was like, how do I give thanks for fleas? And so she had a hard time giving thanks for fleas. But then over the days, they were having Bible study, and no soldiers were coming in because they were teaching these Jews who were about to be killed. They were having Bible study, and people were responding. And then they wondered why nobody was coming in their barracks. And then they figured it's because of the fleas. They don't want to come in here and get bitten by the fleas. And then years later, Corrie ten Boom, I just learned that this morning. Corrie ten Boom, years later, met an SS soldier that was on the same camp, it was concentration camp where she was, and said, why did you all never come to our barracks? Because they heard women being raped in the next barracks by the soldiers. And she said, we never came there and raped anybody because of the fleas. What am I saying to you? That even through small things, things that you think are bad, come with an attitude, thank you, God. Thank you that they tripping on my job. You must have something better. Thank you. There's some things happening. I don't even understand what's happening. But I thank you. When we start moving it, and I'm only going to pray for the things I think are good. The things I think, God, you did good. We start giving God a report card. That ain't prayer. You have just become his boss. And one reason why many of us are lost and wondering, is there a God? Is God real? God doesn't speak to me. It's because we have not built an intimate enough relationship with him where he can't be real to you. And so that is the setting. Then the place. Find a comfortable place. Find a peaceful place. Find a specific place. A regular place of prayer. You can pray anywhere, but find a place. I have a certain chair I like to sit in. And have a pleasant, familiar environment will bring you more quickly and naturally to the attitude of prayer. So set a specific place, a specific time, and then it's okay if you took a cup of coffee or some juice to you to prayer. You can sit down with your coffee, look at y'all. What? That ain't hot. That ain't hot. Well, if that's how somebody else did, you can sit down with a cup of coffee with Lord, just Lord, Lord, I love you. You have some tea. All right? You're not fasting, you're praying. You can go to your prayer time and just sit before God and just relax. Good morning, Lord. Good night, Lord. Here I am. I'm here with you. And then another thing, the time. Reasonable goal for time of prayer. And we're not in a contest. I pray longer than you. Who prayed the longest? I've met good preachers that I know that spend 4 or 5 hours a day in prayer. I meet people like that. But they don't like to talk about it. But I'll talk about it privately. Tell me about your prayer life. Tell me about how you spend time. I spend 4 or 5 hours before the Lord. And then I met preachers say, well, I don't have time to pray. And it's pretty evident in their ministry. You know, I prayed and fasted when I was coming up. And now God is giving me favor. I'd be like, oh, yeah. Let me move on. Right? But it's not a contest for us to walk around. How long do you pray? How long? Well, I pray this long. I pray this long. But if you're just starting out, start with short amount of time. And then add gradually. Don't feel bad because you can't pray like this one. That. I know some of y'all couldn't lead prayer for our hour prayer. Y'all couldn't pray for 5 minutes on the prayer. Like, Lord, that's all I got to say. Somebody take over. Like, we just got started. Now we cutting you off. Like, prayer time is over. We logging off. Because you grow in your relationship with him. And so gradually you work out. And so set yourself an hour. Set the hour. But then maybe part of that you might find yourself getting lost or getting whatever. But if you get 5 minutes of daily prayer, that's much better. 5 minutes daily is better than 15 minutes every 3 days. Get consistent, right? But either one is not enough for the warfare that we're fighting, but it's a start. So if you've never had a prayer life, in 5 minutes I'm in prayer that I'm specific laying before you, and I just lay before God. I know there's times I said I'm going to end at this time, and then I find myself lost in the Lord, and I go even further. But spend that time. And how to enjoy prayer, continue. You have the attitude. Make prayer time. That should be time. Make prayer time a personal relationship with God. You don't have to speak in King James language. Father, thou knowest that thee art I hither. Juliet. You can just talk to God. Hey, Lord, these folks getting on my nerves. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm tired, Lord. Why can't you just talk to God? He's God. He understands your language. You don't have to say, I come before thee like a full empty cup before a full fountain. I mean, that's beautiful and that's poetic. That's nice. But you don't have to talk to God like that every day. If my kids come to me talking like that, I'd be like, what you want? Father, thou art the greatest. What you want? Or better yet, what you own? Father, thee, thou. Prayer is a conversation, a union. It's intermingling of two personalities, your personality and God's personality. God speaks to me and I speak to him. This is what John Bisango said. Prayer is not, some of us say, well, I can't pray because I run out of what to say. You talk too much. Prayer is talking and listening to God. Some of us just talk too much. If you ever met somebody like that, you can't get a word in edgewise. And then they say, I just enjoy talking to you. Do you? Because we ain't said nothing. You talk too much. Sometimes it's a conversation. You got to listen to him. Waiting on God is not a mere abstract passing of time. It is a definite spiritual exercise during which, after having spoken to God, he in turn speaks to you. After you've spoken to God, he speaks to you. And sometimes before I speak to God, he speaks. But I go to him first because I come to him, honoring him and worshiping him. But he in turn speaks to you. This is why to enhance your prayer time, you need to start journaling. Tips on journaling. Everybody, I thank God for the brotherhood because I'd had about 4 brothers say, Bishop, I don't know where them books came out on pulpit. It looked bad. I got to move them books. I said, them my journals. These are some of my prayer journals. This one, let me see, what's the date on this one? I think this one is kind of old. This one goes back to, look at the date. Ooh. Wait a minute. Wow, that was a long day. This is just 2004. I got some in here, go back to, how'd that get in here? Okay, that's not my journal. I got some go back to the 90s. And if you are a wise employee, when you work a job, especially if you work in an office or whatever, if you have a meeting with your boss, what's the first thing you take? You take a notepad, right? If somebody comes sit with me that I'm leading and they don't bring a notepad, it tells me that they could care less about what I'm saying. Right? I'm just giving you a tip. How do you get promoted? All right? You go in and you take some notes so you don't forget nothing. He good. He gonna buy it. And you take notes. So a prayer journal is the way that we take notes on what God has said to us. That's how we take notes. We take notes with a prayer journal. It's not a diary where we write down everything we did and I don't like this one and, Hennessy ain't cool because she didn't shave. No, it's notes. What is God saying? What do I sense that God is saying? And a journal is important. Look, this journal goes to 2004. And these journals, these are just a few. I got about 15 more of these. I just grabbed these because they were the closest ones. All of these, every page is notes from what God has talked to me. And one thing that I can see is this. When I am distant from God, it is when I slipped and had more challenges, emotionally, mentally. When I'm distant from God, when I'm making it on my own. Because prayerlessness, if nobody else listening, he is. Prayerlessness is a evidence of pride. I don't need you. I got this. When I'm prayerless, if I can look at a string, and I've seen my pride, because usually every day I go to God with my journal and I take notes. Lord, I read Zechariah chapter 4. Speak to me through that. Or just speak to me about this situation or that situation. And when I journal, whatever bubbles up in my spirit, I write it. Whatever. I don't even judge it. I write it. And then I come back and look at it. And I know God ain't going to say nothing like, I'm done with you. I'm through with you. I'm tired of you. You ugly. God don't say stuff like that. Usually when God speaks, he speaks far greater than anything I ever could imagine. He's far more affirming, and it lines with his word. So God ain't going to tell me to kill myself. God ain't going to tell me to kill you. So then when I believe I've heard from God, I've taken notes, then I have some people in my life who are not just watching, what's that show with the ladies on it? No, Housewives. Yeah, that's even worse. Not The View, the other one with Star on it. What's that one? I ain't listening to them women or them men. I need some people around me not to tell me what they think, what they heard, but what I sense God is saying. Do you have some people around you that are prayers? I'm talking about not some people that just know the Bible. Yeah, the Bible say. What are you sensing God is saying? Because God speaks, he speaks to us. God speaks to his people. Don't let nobody tell you that God is not speaking. God speaks to his people. And when we know his voice, I write it, I discern. And when I see gaps, sometimes I come back and say, sorry, Lord. It shows that I've been slipping. Because I'll see sometimes, can I confess, there are times that there'd be a whole month before I journal. Which means I wasn't listening to God. I was just talking. And then I look and I see when I come back, oh God, why this happening? Why am I so down? Why have you left me? And God like, I ain't leave you. Where you been? I've been trying to talk to you. Prayer is not just about, I got something to say, I got something to say. And every time he fills me, he strengthens me. He even gives me what to preach, what to say, how to do. He shows me what to do. Oh, Lord, they tripping at my job. Oh, they tripping down the street. Oh, I got to deal with the politician here. He gives me what to do in that time of journaling. And so let me give you some tips on journaling. How to enjoy God. First, if you're going to journal, in any one of these journals, I can pick any one of them. Ooh, when is this one? I remember they gave me this one. When is this one? Ooh, that's good. Go back and read that. When is this? I don't know. It don't matter, do it. Man, because I write the date, then I write. See, all this is same day. Oh well. I don't know. The first thing you do is if you're going to hear it from God, the first thing is to get rid of distractions. When you sit down to pray, write down your list of things to do before you get to praying. Because I don't know about you. Just when I'm trying to lay before God, hey, Lord, just good morning, so good. That's how I start my prayer. Good morning, Lord. You so great. You so mighty. You so holy. Oh, I got to call this person. You so wonderful. You so this. Oh, I got to go pay this bill. So when those things start coming to my mind, I just say, okay, Lord, before I start, let me just write these things down so I can get this out of the way because it's fresh in the morning. It's a new morning, and I got a list of things to do. Okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, do that, do this, do that, do that. Boom, now that's out of the way. So now I've cleared that out of the way. Now I can spend time with God. Do y'all hear what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to help you from getting played in your prayer time. So I write down my list of things to do. Sometimes I write it right in my journal. Oop, let me write this down. I got this. Got to email this one. Got a meeting here. Got to do this. Got to pick this person up. Got to do this. Boy, got to go to practice. Whatever. Got to buy shoes. Whatever. Write that down, and then I can move on. And sometimes God supernaturally reminds me of things that I need to do. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Now let's talk. So write down your things to do list. Meditate on God's word. So to prime yourself, open his word. It's not about, this is not Bible study. This is laying before God. I'm trying to help you to fight in this war. I'm trying to help you. How do you fight in this war in these dark days when there's so many demonic voices that are speaking? I've gone ad nauseum showing you how demons speak, right? You know how demons speak. Well, meditate on God's word. Speak to God. Begin to empty your heart. Write your prayer down, even the things you're praying about. And I'm not talking about the list of things he's supposed to do. Sometimes we say, God didn't answer my prayers because we just write down the things, God, make my hair grow. God, make my teeth white. God, I mean, we just got a list of things we want God to. God, don't forget, I'm working on my first million. I need a Tesla, Jesus. Begin to write things to empty your heart. List what you see and sense what God is doing in your life. Then ask God to speak to you. I just write it. Lord, speak to me. I'll leave a space, and then I'll wait. And listen with your heart. Begin to write what you sense God is saying. Just as I said a moment ago, don't judge it. Don't worry about it. Just begin to write it down. Don't scrutinize it. Just write and take notes. And just pray, and God will begin to refine that. Then later you'll come back to it. When God speaks, he's confirming his word. He never contradicts the Bible. He amazes you. You sense peace after hearing from him. And when it's something big, confirm it through accountability friends, accountability partners, battle buddies, the Bible, and through your circumstances, the doors that God is opening. God has given me business ideas in prayer. I mean, God, I get to sit with God. If I meet somebody, when I meet somebody that's big, if I know I'm going to meet somebody that's doing something big, I met Bishop Charles Blake when he was the presiding bishop. When I first met him, he got a church with almost 30,000 people in it, and I was just starting pastor. When I went to meet him, I wasn't talking, I didn't say a word. I had a list of 30 questions about how to make my church grow. Because he doing something I ain't never seen done. So, how you doing? I'm fine. If you don't mind, Bishop, I got some questions. He said, you got a lot of questions. I said, sure do. Tell me about you. Nothing, married, got children. Now, how do you, I ain't trying to impress you. I need to know what you know. So if I would do that before somebody that's a baller, how much more would I do that? I got God that can show me how to run my business, show me how to get everything. I've got promotions. God, show me what to write in grants, show me what to write in proposals. The Lord, what do I do? I ask God about everything. What do I do, Lord? I got a meeting today. What should I say? He'll show me. When God is your everything, not just your King James God. Father, thou knowest. Whoa, that's good. because my moaning and groaning, I felt that right there. But that, through your moan, I actually felt that. But it ain't always in the moan. It's in the conversation. I hear him. All right. And then a model for your prayer. So I just did a little sidebar on journaling. These are my journals, and I would say you can look at them, but nope, that's between me and God. My wife don't even look at those. Actually, sometimes she does, but not often. The Lord's Prayer is a model for prayer. The Lord's Prayer is not necessarily a prayer, but you can pray it. Like, what's his name? Todd Beamer in United 73 that crashed in, was it 73? That crashed in Pennsylvania during 9/11. He tried to call his wife. He couldn't get through. He got the 911 operator. He talked to the 911 operator for 13 minutes as they were preparing to help crash the plane. And he asked the 911 operator, can you pray the Lord's Prayer with me? And he just happened to get a 9/11 operator who knew the Lord's Prayer. They prayed the Lord's Prayer. It's on the transcript. It's on the recording. They prayed the Lord's Prayer. And then you hear him say, let's roll. He hangs up the phone. They storm the cockpit and force the plane to crash so it doesn't go hurt other people. When I heard that story, I said, wow, prayer even gives us strength in impossible situations. I would have been screaming, ah! First class, coach, back in the plane, we all going down. I would like to believe that I would have woke up out of that and did what he did. But he prayed. And Jesus said, in this matter, therefore pray. Why don't we say the Lord's Prayer together? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come. Your will be done. Can I hear y'all? I don't hear y'all. On earth, as it is in heaven. Give us, it's on the screen. Give us this day. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Now, y'all know that by heart. You learned it as a child. They should be learning that right now in children's church. But that's a model. Now, if you pray it, it's okay, but that's a model. It's a format to prayer. God gave them a format. What do you say? And my wife loves, she recommends to everyone, and I'm recommending here, I put in the notes, Larry Lee's book, Larry, L-E-A, book. You can order it. Could you not tarry 1 hour? Just teach us how to pray, praying for 1 hour. It's a great book. She got that book decades ago, and she still reads it to this day. And it uses the Lord's Prayer format for the entire prayer time. You worship God. You seek his will. You pray for provision. You seek to forgive and to be forgiven. You pray for others. You pray against evil. You worship God. This is how we pray. So if you don't know what to say, just go to the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven. Now just worship God for who he is. You're a great God. Hallowed is your name. Tell about how great his name is. Tell him who he is to you. Your kingdom come. Pray about the kingdom. Father, your kingdom, your rule, you reign in my life, in my home. You get what I'm saying? And you follow that pattern, and you can pray. And then my daughter-in-law's granddaddy, when he was alive, he used to run all-night prayers, and I went to the all-night prayer, and he taught me that Superintendent C.J. Starks, she taught me, Destiny Mathews, that's who I'm talking about, my daughter, that daughter-in-law, Destiny Mathews. He taught me that if you get 60 people to pray for each person for 1 minute. By the time you're done, it's an hour. You just pray for 60 people for 1 minute or 30 people for 1 minute. There's more than 60 people in this room right now. You pray for them and intercede. And you know what happened when I began to do that? I began to pray in the Spirit. God gave me prophetically what to pray for people. As I began to pray, as I began to list names, like everybody in this church, I oftentimes go down the list of the role of this church. Whether I know you good or don't, I pray for the role of the church. Lord, bless this one. Lord, bless that one. And as I pray, I began to pray prophetically. I began to pray for things I don't even know. But I believe that God is having me praying in the Spirit. Praying in the Spirit is not just praying in tongues. Praying in tongues is for me. Praying in the Spirit is that he guides to warfare on your behalf. Lord, touch them even right now. Protect them even right now. Father, I come against that enemy who they think is a friend. Oh, I remember that was one person. I can't say their name. I ain't mentioning no names because if I start mentioning names, you'll go, oh, he was praying for you. Must really be bad. But praying for that person, and I could just see an enemy that they believe a friend. And I just kept praying for exposure, praying to wake them up. Father, shake them. Show them. Because I just began to pray the prayer list. Other people who were part of the church, I just go on the computer, go on the line. You know, we got the portal, and I just go on the line and begin to pray. Some of them I know, some I haven't seen because, you know, some are AME people. All right? CME. Yeah, CME. They're not AME. Bless you, AMEs. They're CME. Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. Yeah. But I pray for them. Lord, touch them. Lord, touch this one. Touch this. Touch their children. Touch their children's children. Open their womb. I pray to God to open everybody's womb. Pray to God to open everybody, that every man will be able to, everything happens that they can have children. Oh, I pray all kinds of things for y'all. Hallelujah. And so we pray. This is how we pray. And how do we enjoy praying? I'm almost done. Because I need you to be on this. I need you praying you just, I don't want to pray, I don't want to pray, just too much. I don't know what to say. Lord, I don't know what to say. And then he said with your moans and groans. That's when you hear people say, I don't know what to say, but I'm just going to moan. And God says that the Holy Ghost will interpret your moans to God. When you don't know what to say, just moan. You don't know what you said, but God spoke. God heard it. The Holy Ghost interpreted it. Oh, Lord, I don't know. He know. If you moan like that, if you can't moan as good as Mother Wilson over there, if you just moan, if you just say, Lord, you know. Ain't no vain repetition. Ain't no chanting. Bing. Bing. No. Don't worry about daydreaming or sleepiness. Over time, you will overcome it. Because I have found that the enemy tempts you. Now, you got to watch. Now, you can't be watching demonic movies all night and then expect to wake up in the morning and have a great prayer time. Because when you close your eyes, you're going to see demons. Because you was watching horror movies. Because it's Halloween month. And the demons are coming all up in your devices. So since you've been dancing with demons, how many of you getting a breakthrough and you start going through a whole scene of a movie? I know I'm telling the truth. And so, but don't worry about it. Because when you're young in prayer, you're going to daydream, you're going to get sleepy, and you need to recognize, go to bed, get your rest. But I came to the point, if I can watch a football game for 3 hours, football game, dude talking, don't know what he talking about. Shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. And then the commercials are all stupid, same commercials over and over again, and I watch it. And then you mean I can't pray for 1 hour? I can't pray for 20 minutes? I can watch a Netflix movie, don't make no sense, but everybody said it was good. Watch the whole season. I watched the whole season in one night. But I can't come to all-night prayer? We can binge and watch all night, eat food that ain't good, that's cheap and bad for me. Enjoying prayer is a sure sign that you are receiving good preparation for spiritual warfare. When you start recognizing, Lord, you are empowering me. Let me tell you this. Oh, God. I got to tell you one more thing. Let's move to the next slide really quick because I can't go without this. Prayer and fasting goes together. Prayer is the hammer. No, prayer is the nail. Fasting is the hammer. If you don't pray, you won't stay. If you don't fast, you won't last. Prayer is the hammer. Fasting is the hammer. Prayer is the nail. Jesus said in Matthew 17:21, it is without fasting and prayer, nothing that you have not overcome that except by fasting and prayer and fasting, that you're able to rebuke demons like this or to deal with the warfare that we're fighting in. Everyone should fast. Everybody is part of this church. Look, this church is founded on prayer. How are we able to do so much in a year and a half? How are we able to sustain doing what we do? We have not put out one flyer telling people that we pray 2-3 times a day with my picture on it. We praying like this. No, we actually pray in a secret closet. We don't even advertise the links. It's just us. We can have hundreds of people on the prayer, but we know we need personal prayer time together to fight this warfare together. This is how we're able to sustain. This is why we're not losing our minds. Those who come to prayer, whenever somebody tell me they depressed and they down, the first thing I do, especially in this church, I'll meet you in the morning in prayer. And then when they click on and click off, I know they ain't serious. You ain't even got to pray. You just got to listen to somebody else praying. And yeah, I just got tired of being in the prayer. And you want me, and what you want me to do, dance for you? I'm just down. Help lift me up. I can't lift you up. My daughter, she in here somewhere. She used to run track. She was all state, could have ran Division I track, but she liked volleyball better. She was good, Quita. And so I was her coach behind the coach. So I used to work her out after the workouts, the track. And so then I give her a motivational talk at every track meet. So she's at the state meet, and she's like, give me one of them talks. I said, if you don't know now, I ain't got nothing to say to you, but do what you know to do. And then she went out and beat everybody. So the bottom line is this, that this is why we push in prayer. This is why we fast. And when I hear people say things like, y'all doing that old school stuff, they refer to praying as old school. What, y'all gonna be at church all night? That old stuff? What? Y'all praying? Y'all pray? If you didn't know this, we don't have a service that there's not prayer that happens before. Anybody who's serving meets here at 8 o'clock in the morning. Most of them are here at 7:30, quarter to 7. I was outside front watching them come in. 7:30, quarter to 7, everybody here, we pray. What? Musicians. What? The singers. What? The ushers. What? The greeters. We pray. Why you think we ain't up here fighting, trying to kill each other? Cussing each other out in the lobby. Because it's through prayer. The enemy don't get no space. Why you think so many of you are ex-suicidal? Used to be suicidal. Used to be on the divorce track. Used to be on a quitting track. Used to be on a running from life. But now you standing strong and seeing the salvation of God. Because as you enter the presence of God, you can never come back the same way. Moses, when he was in the face of God, he came down from the mountain and his face was shining. You're shining. But if you pray, you must fast. And there, I want to just share this, and I'm done. I know it took a minute. I know I'm not exciting today. I'm not here to be exciting. I ain't here for you to say, woo, I'm here to instruct you. Because Christians are getting their clocks cleaned right now. All across the world, especially in America, because we're being exposed because the God we've been preaching about, we don't know him. The world like you don't know him. How can your God be a healer and y'all? How can all this coming against the church right now and we running scared? We're getting exposed. How can the demons be ruling and reigning all around us and we becoming friends with the demons? Because we didn't know God's voice. Preachers, teachers, Christians with seniority. Because we didn't know God. So now, maybe because we were so busy entertaining that we didn't instruct on how to get close to God, and I refuse to fall to the pressure that I got to entertain you as your pastor. It is my job for you not only to survive, but to thrive in this war. We got to thrive. Well, come on, when are you going to get to the bump? When are you going to raise his voice? I ain't raising nothing. I'm raising your life. So for you babies in the Lord, beginner prayer. Fasting is abstain from food for a given amount of time. No food. None. Just drinking water. So I got some levels for you. I want to help you out. You ain't never fasted. I ain't trying to tell you to fast for 40 days and 40 nights. Yeah. I should have some elders that's trying, though. Say amen, elders. Thank you. Amen. Beginning, just a baby fast. If you're just a beginner, fast from 7 p.m. until noon the next day. Don't eat nothing, just drink water from 7 o'clock at night to noon the next day. Did somebody say, woo? I heard somebody over here. Somebody said, woo? That's a lot. Just 7 at night. Intentionally say, I'm not eating after 6:59 in the evening until 12:01 tomorrow. And when I shut down the food, I'm shutting down my entertainment and these other things to spend time with God. Because it's not just not eating. That was a double negative, but you get it. It's about, I'm shutting this down. I'm going to spend time with God. Just from 7 o'clock They call that intermittent fasting. They got that from the church. Then if you're growing a little bit, 7 p.m. to 3 p.m. the next day. We see people in the Bible that were fasting until 3 p.m. Cornelius was fasting until 3 in the afternoon. Till 3 p.m. Now, I got to noon because I'm going to tell you something. For some of you say, I don't eat breakfast anyway. But when you decide to fast, you're going to be so hungry the next morning. Woo, I need some grits. I need some bacon. I need some eggs. You don't even eat breakfast. But when you decide that you're not going to eat, at 7:30, you're going to be dizzy. Oh, Lord. You just ate dinner at 6:30. Oh, Lord, I think I'm going to die. Y'all know I'm on medication. Woo! Like, what? You just stopped eating. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. When you decide to fast, I ain't never been on the fast that I wanted to go on. I ain't never been like, I'm about to fast. Hallelujah. Because when you want to fast, people offer you free food. People cook good food. Your favorite going to get cooked during this little bit of time. Now, as you grow a little bit, 7 to 3. And if you're still growing, 7 to 7 the next day. So I'm going to do 24 hours. I'm just trying to help you to grow. You'll get it in the notes. And then, so for instance, we fast as a church. We fast every Tuesday and Friday. With the entire world, we fast. So you can do it till 12. You can do it till 3. Or you can say, I'm not eating till tomorrow. Now, I'm not following you around. I don't have no tracker on you and checking your Uber Eats. Then as you grow, you do 24 hours. Then some, as you're yet growing, you can go to 72 hours. That's 3 days. So I start today at 7 p.m. Then I go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 7 I'll eat. Then as I mature, I'll go 5 to 6 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 p.m. I eat. Or next Sunday I'll eat, and I'll drink water straight through. And I'm telling you, God will give you grace. And then as you get there, you'll get to, many people in here can testify to doing 15 days and 20 days. And let me tell you a secret. Hardest for me is fasting until noon or 3. Easier for me is to fast 3 to 10 days. 10 days is easier because you can't see it on your clock. Because when you're sitting looking like it's 12:11, I got 2 hours and 49 minutes. Then you got a problem. Those who cannot go beyond the beginning fast because maybe you're on some type of medication, I got something for you. Consecrate. So no meat, no sweets, nothing to drink but water for 24 hours, 72 hours, 5 to 7 days. And don't tell me your medication need meat and Kool-Aid. Your medication do not need meat and Kool-Aid. You can do beans and rice and not a pile of it this high. And somebody testified in this church and said, you talking about you can't fast because you're on medication, but when you have a procedure at the hospital, they tell you can't eat until you do the procedure. You fast. And so fasting, what does fasting do? Push aside my flesh. When I'm able to take charge of my flesh, when I'm able to say, flesh, one of the basic needs, air, I can't go on an air fast because I can't go too long on an air fast. But that ain't going to last too long. I can't go on an air fast. But flesh, you need food. If I can deprive my flesh from food, when my flesh begin to talk, has your body ever been, rah, 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 what? We want to eat. And I say, you're not going to eat. Then it's easy to get past the sex addiction. Ooh, Lord. You got the can't help it. Wait, I can tell my body not to eat. I can sure tell it that it don't need that. I can sure tell it don't need that Hennessy, that Crown Royal, that Colt 45, that cheaper. A saint cannot fall when they are standing on their knees. I'm done. Stand with me even right now. Come on, get the Lord some praise. You can clap. Don't be scared because they ain't clapping. Listen, I took some extra time because the scripture reminds us, therefore, submit yourself to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. I wanted you to see what it takes to draw near to God. And I declare even right now that we will be strong enough to endure these difficult days. It's too much going on. It's so much that's going on. The demonic activity that's happening right now is falling within prophetic realm. We see it. But it's off the charts of previous generations. It's stuff happening right now. I was with folks just this week. Remember I was telling you about the school board thing? I found out why now. I was with folks just this week with teachers who've been fired. I was with a bunch of teachers, and they was like, oh, well, they fired me. I'm done. I was with teachers who've been fired, and I'm with parents who are now being surveilled by the FBI because they dare to talk about the curriculum about girl-boy stuff, sexuality. And now they in the news saying, send FBI to them folks if they speak out against it. Devil is bold, y'all. How dare you say that a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl? Send the FBI at them. You got to be able to stand. Ooh, boy, now I feel like preaching for real. I'm teaching now. And the only way to stand ain't about no jumping, no bumping, about no, I go to a good church. You got to know God for yourself. Because here's the thing, brothers and sisters. Here's the thing. I can see it happening. This can soon become illegal. This, what we're doing now, all of y'all here, can easily soon become illegal. And it won't have nothing to do with a disease about COVID or nothing like that. It will just be shut down the churches. They already done shut. You know how many churches I know that's done closed down, ain't about to open back up? There's a whole lot of them shut down. They ain't opening back up. It's done. Finished. Finito. And this is soon going to become illegal because the devil knows that you got a body of believers. But now what will happen is you have an altar in your house. And we equip whatever they come at us. That's okay. You come big, we go small. We'll have groups all over the land. Praying warriors everywhere. Because, yes, you got a pastor to teach, but then you will know God for yourself.